Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the POPCC panel. Today, I have some awesome guests. I'm joined by my co-host, Heather, again. And also, we have, hey, Heather, you there? Hey, what's up? How's it
I
going?
got in.
Awesome. Okay, Heather's been having some technical difficulties, but it looks like we have wrangled her in. Welcome, Heather. And who are we joined by, Heather? Go ahead, please introduce our guests.
Oh my goodness. So we have Brian Dang on. Are you going to pop everybody as we do it? Oh, good. Oh, fun.
Yeah.
Yay, Brian
Hey,
Dang. We have Manuela Pichler. Hello. Oh my goodness. And we
April
also,
Dunham.
yeah, I know. And April Dunham.
hey.
I got too excited. Sorry.
It's okay. That's right. High five. It's good. So wonderful. Welcome, everybody. Oh my gosh, it's so great to see everybody's faces. So
Yes.
there we go.
Awesome. Okay, so for those, I'm pretty sure most everybody in the community knows the three of you, but for those who don't, who are new to the community, who just got introduced to the event yesterday, why don't you each take a minute or two, introduce yourselves, and share a bit about your story and how you went from community to Microsoft. Brian, let's start with you.
All right. But first, I do have to take a moment to say, John, you missed out on an opportunity to call us a power panel. Does that tell you enough about me?
Right.
So I am now on the PowerCAT team, which is the team that John and Heather are part of. I'm so proud of being part of this team. We do so much teamwork together. But where did this all start? I'll keep this part short and then we'll chunk it as it comes up today. I was an elementary school teacher and I learned how to make Power Apps to solve problems instead of trying to do it inside Excel. It's not the appropriate place for those kinds of things. And over time, one thing led to another. When I saw that this set of tools was allowing me to do things that I could not do before and reclaim so much time as a teacher, I thought, if I take a year off and just make everything that I want, I could come back to the classroom, share these apps, this automation with my fellow teachers, and we would be so much better off with it. But Microsoft had scooped me up and asked me to show my apps to Bill Gates, to James Phillips, who you saw yesterday, and they asked me to come join the company, and that's why I'm here today.
It's awesome. It's awesome. That's such a cool story. I actually remember kind of being there, not in the room or anything, but just remember hearing about it all happen. And Brian, we go way back to the Project Sienna community together. And so, just watching that whole journey has been amazing. And to have you on the team, you sir absolutely belong. And so I'm stoked that series of events took place.
Yeah, let me share one thing about that. Actually, you posted a tweet saying, hey, there's this new thing called Power Apps. You want to join the beta? Never doubt that invitations like that will change your life.
That's awesome. That is awesome. Manuela, how about you?
So my journey, I guess, is a little bit different. I'm a developer by trade. I was a developer for many years. And then I discovered Power Apps and I realized that my life could be a lot easier by worrying about the things that I need to worry about and helping business users take care of the UI element themselves or even helping them onboard and creating apps themselves. So I built a pool of other developers to help me do my job better. At my previous company, and had I think what was really life-changing for me was being introduced to this community of power champions. Having been a developer for such a long time, I've never felt like I belonged anywhere as much as in the Power Platform community, where everyone lifts each other up, everyone is there for each other, and everyone wants to see each other succeed. I think that's the most kind of prominent thing that stood out for me. So I was lucky enough to meet Brian at a conference. I think it was Ignite 2 years ago, and then I also got introduced to people like Keith Watling and Summit, who are huge inspirations to me, and kind of stayed in touch with them, and yeah, I was then lucky enough to join Microsoft about a year ago. I'm also in the PowerCAT team, so I didn't put my T-shirt on today.
Awesome. Yeah, Manuela, it's been great to watch your journey too. From the community when you were making apps that everybody was trying to copy your designs and make it apps as pretty as you. I remember that's how it all began. And now your impact on community with the COE starter kit and taking all the input from the community and creating these tools for every company to use and grow and understand. It's awesome to watch your journey as well. All right, April, you're next up.
Yeah, hey, April Dunham. So yeah, my journey is actually kind of similar to Manuela's, honestly. I was a developer by trade, so I was kind of running my own consulting company for about 8 years. I did a lot in the SharePoint space. So I did a lot of InfoPath stuff and SharePoint designer workflows and all that, and a lot of custom code. And so I was just like gravitation towards the Power Platform as soon as I learned about this thing, Project Sienna and this thing called Flow at the time. And like, man, that's going to make my life so much easier, not having to do this crazy InfoPath and SharePoint designer stuff. So latched onto that pretty early on. And, kind of echo what Manuela said about this community. When I started blogging about, I was recreating things from SharePoint designer into, Power Automate. And I started blogging about it in the community and just like the Flow fam and being like looped into that just really kind of changed. And I just went full force into that. And I love what I do. And now I'm at Microsoft and I'm on the partner side as a partner technical architect. And
It's awesome. So not only do you get to now help customers be successful, but April is still a massive community contributor. She has a YouTube channel. She makes content all the time just to help everybody learn and upskill. And so it's so cool to have you guys all here to have watched all of your journeys take place from amazing community members to now amazing Microsoft employees. So thanks everybody for being here and sharing a bit of your story so everybody knows a bit of your background. I see in the chat we have a question about what is PowerCAT. We keep mentioning this PowerCAT again. Heather, you want to tell people what is PowerCAT?
Sure. PowerCAT is our community of, I would say we call it sort of the depth community where, and as you can see, I'm in a hotel room in Redmond, so I'm not at my normal place right now because I came up for this show and I keep going, I'm like, am I in the screen or not? It's so funny. So PowerCAT is the customer advocacy or advisory group for Microsoft for Power Platform. And so we have a ton of folks on that team. We're all a part of that team as well, where it's like really, really going deep with our customers, making sure they're successful and especially sort of with Manuela, that side of the team, creating content like the COE and all the different in a day. So like app in a day and RP in a day and all of those different things, all the good things that you're seeing out on our adoption site and docs.microsoft.com as far as the Power Platform goes. And then, Brian works with, Samir and Sally and, Kathy, and we have so many people working on our, customer success. And our team for Power Platform community success, we really go to that sort of the breadth, right? So we're reaching out through our online communities. We're creating, helping people create blogs and videos and all of that stuff. So we have the entire sort of life cycle, if you will, for community from people who have never seen Power Platform before and folks who are super in depth with it. And so it's really that hands-on with our customers all the way through that first touch of hello and what is this? So, yep.
Yeah. So long story, that was a great answer, and I'll sum it up. We help customers and community be successful. That's what the PowerCAT team does.
Exactly.
Awesome. Okay, so I would love to ask each of you, what was your top moment from the conference? I have a whole bunch, but let's start with April. April, what was your top moment from yesterday?
oh my gosh, it's hard to pick just one. Obviously I loved all the sessions and just seeing I love the mix of the TED style talks and the technical sessions there. Really, I think we started off with a bang with Reza's session, just really getting into Power Platform and the Project Oakdale stuff with Teams. That's obviously really exciting to me because I do a lot with both technologies. I love Geetha's session on Power Apps and building pretty Power Apps. That's something I'm really passionate about, so I really enjoyed that too. So those are probably my two top moments.
Cool, awesome. All right, Brian, how about you?
Yeah, I'd have to say I really loved the TED Talks, and one special moment for me was just seeing all the ideas light up for Power Virtual Agents. I use a lot of Power Apps. I use a lot of Power Automate. Power Virtual Agents is a space where I want to. I don't want to think about UI sometimes. And so I think a bot would be perfect. And seeing Emma's bot for just speaking with Neil, I thought, if every restaurant in Japan had something like this, I could make so much more sense of the restaurants.
Yes.
Yeah.
Brian and I went to Japan together on a trip to meet customers, and we spent a lot of our time picking our food with pictures on a menu. This. Okay, Manuela, what was your top moment from yesterday?
Yeah, I also really loved Emma's session actually, but I think I always enjoy some of those real world customer sessions, like Ellen from Schlumberger sharing the story. And I think especially because I've known Ellen for a while now, and I've seen him present a few times, and just the journey that they've as a company been on, and how their adoption has evolved is just something I find hugely inspiring. And I know that it's valuable for a lot of our community members to see how organizations adopt the Power Platform at scale.
Definitely. Seeing Alan, how he started as a champion and now makes 1 million champions, and the amount of apps and things they create, it is just inspiring. I mean, I don't know any other word for it. I think it's something that every organization should aspire to, really. Heather, how about you? What was your favorite moment from yesterday?
It was just the depth of knowledge that everybody was sharing, like it's obvious, that was there, but then it was just sort of I love the YouTube chat, I gotta say, where it just people, and there were so many people that stayed all day long with us, right? That I was like, Yes, 9 hours, y'all, and it was just all day long, and everybody jumped in, it was like from the bot squad to Flow Fam to Power Addicts, like all of the sort of our people, and then new people who were like, oh, what is this Flow Fam thing, and what is Power Addicts, and what is what, and people saying, oh, you need to go here, and let me share this link with you. And Brian Dang, yo, shout out, wow, like you rocked the like setting up links and everything. So to me, it was, the sessions were all so good, first of all. So thank you, everybody. The sessions were amazing. But then it was just that interaction that was happening during the session with the speaker. All the speakers were interacting with everybody, during their session. And I thought, that's kind of a cool way to run a conference too, to where you have the session, but then you were able to answer questions and stuff. And that was something that we decided for the show. But I love that. And just the feeling of, we're all in this together, and everybody's here to help each other. And I felt like that came through really big yesterday, for sure.
Awesome. Yeah, I have a lot of top moments. I'm just gonna pin it down to one. I really liked the chat yesterday too, at one particular moment, actually, during Odd Modelin's talk, where everybody just started nerding out on Dungeons and Dragons and Yu-Gi-Oh! And all the card games. And like, it was amazing how the chat went from, we want to learn things, to, oh my God, this is amazing, I'm nerding out. It was pretty cool to see. I'm going to go ahead and actually move on to the next question, and it is about the history of this event. Who knows where this all started?
I'm like, I think I do, but this is for us, right?
Well, no, not you. Hold on. One of the other three. Let's ask them first. Do any of you three have a guess? Where did this whole online conference? So it's POPCC now, and previous it was something else, and previous it was something else, and it's been going for a few years. Does anyone know the history of where this all started?
Now I know it was the Flow conference for a moment, but I don't know where it started on a napkin, if that's what you're asking.
No, so let me rephrase. The very first one of these, what was it called? Where was it held? Let's try that.
It's got to be the Flow conference, right?
It was, yes, that is correct. It was the Flow conference, yes.
Okay, and I thought you were asking a trick question.
Yeah, I thought it was too. I'm like, it's Flow conference, right? It's a trick question.
Okay, so you guys got to jump out with it. No, you know the answer.
How many points do I get?
10 points. We will award you 10 points. Yeah, so it started as the Flow conference, and actually, funny enough, there's a group in the community called MVP Days, and they put on online conferences. They were doing it for quite some time. We partnered with them to put on our very first event. We had it in 4 parts on YouTube, and so that was the first iteration in 2018. And so it ran as the Flow conference a couple times. It turned into the Power Automate conference. Then it was the Power Platform online conference. And now today it lives as its true form, where it has represented this all along. And so to get to finally rename it this and have it represent this fully, I think is just a bit of fun history about that. So shout out to MVP Days for helping us get our start, and right by community for community. And they're still doing events today. And so definitely go and check them out too. They put on online conferences all the time, fully run by MVP members. They're a rad group. So MVP Days is definitely something you should check out. Okay, next question is, what did everybody think about the addition of the TED-style talks and the real-world example sessions? Did we feel like that was a good addition to years past? April?
Yeah, I loved it. I mean, I love this edition. Back to the previous question, I kind of am sad that I didn't know the answer to that because I spoke at the first Flow conference.
You did.
I should have known that. I should have known that. Anyway, but yeah, I loved these TED Talks. I mean, to me, like Mary Thompson's session, that was like eye-opening, and just to see her journey, and like Alan, and just everything that he's done from enabling the Power Platform in his organization, and some of those stats that he showed. To me, that's where we get the real value for people coming into the Power Platform news. Like, well, what can this actually do? What kind of impact can you make? And those TED style talks really helped, kind of further that message, in my opinion.
Awesome. Manuela?
Yeah, absolutely agree. I think those real world story sessions are so valuable in kind of tying a practical session where you're shown how it works or how to do it into how someone is practically applying it. And I think it's really inspiring just to see how someone is building an application, how it's used in an organization, what impact is it having, how much value are they getting out of it. So I think that's just hugely valuable in not just seeing what to do with the platform or how to kind of technically solve a problem, but also how our customers or community members are applying that practically. So I think it's just hugely valuable. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Brian, what about you?
Yeah, I like the advice that Mary was giving to everybody about maximization. We talk about these Fusion developers and how do we get more people to help solve problems in an organization? Well, you got to involve everybody. And to Alan's talk, he was mentioning some stats about his organization. He's got 5,000 makers. That's 5,000 problem solvers.
I know.
If I could solve a certain set of problems, multiply that by X amount, 5,000. That's incredible what they can achieve. And then for me, Leon's session about how the Power Platform keeps him alive. Seeing his example, and one thing that he mentioned is about the data. He didn't want his data to be held by a third party. I have been making things on my own to just keep my own data, right? Saving my data for my own app that I use for biking. I love that he shared that personal example.
Cool. That's awesome. Yeah, I was really impacted by Leon's talk. I also am diabetic, and so seeing how he thinks about it, not in a reactive fashion, but a proactive fashion, by understanding the data and by using all those tools where things can be managed in a much greater fashion. I was absolutely inspired, and honestly, and then Mary, we shouted her out yesterday in the chat. She was super inspiring. She was amazing and authentic and bold and brave and really let down every guard and shared her story as you could tell it was straight from the hip. She didn't hold anything back. And so I respect greatly everybody getting up there and sharing their personal life like that. It takes a lot.
Yeah, it's important. I think as community is about people and relationships. And yes, it's about the technology and coming together around something, right? Something that we all love. But at the end of the day, storytelling is as old as it gets. And the way we truly relate to each other is by doing that. And I think in technology, in our entire world, we're seeing more of that. And it's being encouraged, right? About if we share a story, somebody connects, you change people's lives when you talk story, when you tell your story to someone else. And I think, hats off to Mary and to Alan and to all of our speakers for sharing their stories. And Leon, those were beautiful. And we're going to see that more. Microsoft as a company, it's infused in our larger events at Ignite. We have a whole Humans of IT track. We're talking about issues that impact everybody, all of us. We are all humans. We are all humans in IT, so be bold, be brave, and you will be supported. That happened on our chat yesterday, and like fiercely, because I think there's also still some of, oh, well, is there a demo? Is there tech? And what are we doing? And it's like, yeah, well, Leon's talking about diabetes, and he's using technology to solve a problem for himself. And how many people now are going to think about that for themselves? There's a lot of people in our country who have that, right? So like being able to talk about mental health, being able to talk about wellness, to talk about mindfulness, to talk about gender and LGBTQ issues, accessibility, all those things, we're allowed and we are encouraged to do that. And I think making space for that as part of our event was really important to us. And it will continue to be important to us, and having those conversations in our community, online, on Twitter, all of those places. So know that we as a team are going to support that, of course, every moment. It's empathy makes us human, and action makes us warriors. Let's all be warriors together,
I like that. That's really good. I'm all fired up. Okay. And our next question is so related to sessions, right? We obviously had those sessions that were TED style and real world talk, and they had an impact of their own. But what about the tech sessions? Which session taught you something? Manuela, let's go to you first.
I think I learned a lot yesterday, but actually in my work life, I focus a lot on the administration and governance side of Power Apps and Power Automate. So that's where I spend a lot of time. And sometimes I feel like I fall behind on some of the newer features that are coming out. So I think Emma's session on chatbots, it was really useful for me to just see the technology in action, because it's an area where I actually don't spend a lot of my time in, or I don't make enough time for it. So for me personally, the sessions that it was just those sessions that touched on some of the newer elements of the platform that I haven't personally embraced as much as maybe I could have.
Nice. I like to hear that. I've recently taken over all the Power Virtual Agents community stuff, and so I'm actually very excited to hear everybody so stoked on the bots. I think even for me, when I started looking at virtual agents, what I was amazed by was the ease of development. That authoring canvas experience is just phenomenal and simple. And I'm like, man, Power Automate team, come on, we got to take some cues from virtual agents. Like, dang. Yeah, it's a wonderful tool, and Emma did a great job. There was a lot of fun, and I'm hopeful, for that pub that they get a lot of traffic because of it. That more people go check them out. It was very cool. All right, April, how about you? What did you learn yesterday?
Well, there were a few. For one, like Daniel Laskowitz on Power Automate Desktop, because that's just another thing where I haven't had a chance to just really dive into that a lot yet. So that was kind of eye-opening for me. And then to echo what Manuela just said, Emma's and both Mariano's sessions that touched on Power Virtual Agents, that's just another area that I need to dive more into. So it was really great to see the functionality in action and just get, an idea of what you can do with it. Like the beer bot obviously was really cool, and the integration with Power Automate with it that Mariano showed was great.
Awesome. I see. You guys are keeping me happy. All the bot love. Brian, how about you? What was which session taught you something?
Yeah, I do want to echo some points that there are so many features that were announced at Ignite. I did get a chance to create a Power Automate desktop flow that actually powered one of the parts of the social app. It fetched some LinkedIn posts.
Nice. Okay.
So there are some things that I did not get a chance to play with enough, and seeing how it's used by community members makes it real for us, right? One thing that I feel people have a misconception of is you work at Microsoft, you know everything, you know exactly how to use everything. Of course, right? Right. You work for Power Apps, you know exactly how to use this completely new feature that's coming out. It's not true. We actually have to take the time to improve ourselves. We actually have to take the time to learn how to use this thing. And so Power Virtual Agents is one of those areas that I really like to see from Mariano's example and Emma's example. And I like to see how customers actually use it, what their frustrations are, what pops out to them. Something as simple as delivering a survey at the end of a bot with no additional code. I like how that's just so easy for us.
Awesome. And how about you, Heather? What session taught you something yesterday?
I really, all of the Power BI sessions I thought were great. And that was sort of for me dipping in, end user adoption for me on the, Teams and SharePoint side, and hearing Denisha talk about that, it's kind of, and you and I talked about this, John, it's like, end user adoption's end user adoption. It's similar, but it's a little different, and so also hearing from Isabel and Ben, those Power BI sessions, I really enjoyed. That's not is my forte as much as sort of say automator apps. And so it was cool to hear all about, their different takes on it. I really liked those sessions, and I really enjoyed sort of the Power BI, the interview at the end too. I mean, I loved everything, but that was neat too, to kind of put a capper on the stuff. So it's good.
Nice. Yeah, I think my favorite moment, I learned a lot from Reza and Ed both, and it's funny because I still learn things in Power Automate all the time, and so Ed's session I really enjoyed. I like how he breaks things down, how he showed some complex things in some very simple ways that made it really easy for people to understand. And I saw some messages on Twitter about how people were going to try expressions now. They were brave enough. He got them over their fear of expressions. And so for me, watching him teach people the split function, watching him show switch case versus stacking conditions, they're not necessarily things that I picked up new, but I appreciated the way he taught those things. And what I learned new is actually some new ways to explain those things better. And so it's also a great learning for me and something to have in my tool set. So thanks, Ed.
It's like how everybody does math. Everybody does math differently. You know what I mean? It's not, and so it's like sometimes seeing that other way that somebody has thought through something, to me, like that's what this, then we had Reza, who is a little, he's very fast, he's like, and then we had Ed and somebody, what was it? The smooth
sounds of the Power Platform with Ed.
Like just the differences between all of the speakers and stuff and the different levels that everybody is at. Like that's the thing that's so great too, is we had I think we had a bit of it all, yesterday, from beginner level all the way into sort of the, getting deep on the technical side. So
yeah. I got some more questions, but let me just talk to the chat right now. Please go ahead and put some questions in the chat. I will try my best to field those. We do have some more lined up, but would love to take some from you as well in our next half hour. So please go ahead and put some questions from yesterday in the chat for the panel. Happy to have those answered. And if you want a specific person to answer them, go ahead and just say who you'd like the question to go to. I'll do my best to direct all those. Okay. So if you see me looking away down here, it's because I'm checking the chat to see what you guys are saying. Okay. All right. So next question actually is one to flip it all around. We've done a lot of talking about how great it is, but I would love your opinions on what is something that we could do to improve even next year. What's something that we could add to the show? And so why don't we start with April?
One thing I was thinking, I would like a guided meditation session led by Ed Gonzalez. I mean, I think that would be really relaxing with, his smooth voice. I mean, we can all, maybe right in the middle of it, so we can all just kind of relax and digest what we've learned. I
like the idea of putting that up in like the sessionize, right? We'll allow people to submit sessions for guided meditations.
Well, we're partnering with Headspace as Microsoft, so we might as well partner with Ed on, the smooth sound.
Nice.
Exactly. There's one on a more serious note, maybe some sessions around, how, okay, so you've learned this technology, how do you give back to the community more? So, and how do you, do you want to start blogging? How got tips on that, tips on, starting a YouTube channel and different ways to give back would be pretty cool, for this community focused conference.
I like that. That is awesome. I would actually like to do a talk on how to do a YouTube channel. It'd probably be more fun for me than trying to create demos and teach technical stuff that I'm not that great at. Man, that's awesome. April, I'm going to steal those ideas for next year. Thank you. Manuela, do you have any ideas that I can take for next year?
It's kind of related to what April said, and it's less about the actual show, but I think as a community, we can only thrive if we're welcoming new members actively. So I think coaching for new speakers and encouraging new speakers and providing resources on how they can put a session together, what it's like to be a new speaker, or like a specific focus area for new speakers. I think that would be really helpful, because we've all been there. We've all had our first talk, and I certainly remember very well how like terrified I was speaking back then in front of people for the very first time. And I was like, is this even interesting? Is anyone listening? What am I going to do if people have questions that I can't answer, etc. So I think it'd be valuable to focus on coaching new interesting ideas into speaking.
I love that. I love it. It's like, if we were to take you and April's idea, it's almost like we're taking the idea of a whole community conference and going inverse with it, right? Where we're making it about being a community member and maximizing participation in community. I love this. This is genius. You guys are genius. I'm so glad we had this question on the docket. Brian, how about you?
Yeah, I have to comment on Manuela's idea. I really like that so much. Like, there were people yesterday who tweeted out things like, I'm going to build my very first app or flow right now. And to me, I think, that could be like the very next speaker. Like they have like a year or 6 months for the next show. And in that time, they're going to grow so much. They could easily become, they could easily have a story to tell about their journey of growth. My addition is, I'm a maker, and I always think about making things. I think it would be so cool to have a companion app for this event. Like, how do I engage with this event with this little tool made on the thing that we're showing on this event? I think that would be fun. And I see you have your thinking face on there.
Someone asked about, is there a conference app?
So, I mean, but imagine if the conference app contained the chat, contained the playback, had the schedule in it, had the social feed. Oh, man.
Brian Dang, what are you doing for the next 6 months?
What you
do that?
Can I go and tell myself?
You just signed. I mean, I don't know. I feel like you just signed up for something awesome.
The social board. I mean, that was unbelievable. So the social board that we were using yesterday, Brian built that. It's a Power App, and so many people at Microsoft have seen. They were like, how do I get that? And so. Seriously, so we are going to write up a case study about it and share it out with, and that's amazing, because it's one of those things that's, it was built in our insider community for, this show, but it's,
there's been a lot. I probably have seen, I don't know, 6 or 7 different people already who are like, I need that app.
Exactly. Carol wanted out already. Go ahead,
Brian. What were you going to say?
Yeah, I have to ask a question, because April and Manuela are here, and they come from our community of makers, and they've been making amazing things here too. Is there anything that you'd like to share with the rest of us that you've been making since coming here?
I guess I'll start. Well, so on the event management side of things, we had kind of an internal event for our team here, and I built a Power App that did everything that you just described, right? It's have a schedule builder built in it. You can build out your agenda. You can watch the keynote, stream it live in the application, see the agenda, have a video hub so you can see all the playback. So that was something that I just built within a couple days times, and we used it. Everyone on the team loved it. So it's pretty exciting, and I love that I still get to build stuff like that we're using here, just being part of Microsoft, because it's one thing I didn't want to lose. I still wanted to be a maker, so it's exciting to be able to build something like that.
That's awesome. That is awesome.
Yes.
Manuel?
Same for me. Same for me. I love that I still get to be a maker in this role. And obviously one of my responsibilities, I guess, is the CV Starter Kit, which some of you might be familiar with, a tool to help admins govern and nurture the adoption of the platform more. And it started off in my a previous role when I was a customer and community member, where I started building some of these assets, and I now get to kind of own that and build that further. So it's something I'm incredibly proud of and passionate about. So yeah, I get to be a maker in that part, and we're cooking up some really exciting new things, specifically targeted for making the maker journey easier, and making the communication between a maker and an admin persona easier. So that's what I'm really excited about.
Love it. I love it. And so the question we asked was, how do we improve the show next time? We had a couple suggestions from the chat. One of my favorites says we should have a group of people show their first app, their first flow, or their first report in Power BI. Like, what a cool idea that would be. My first flow was terrible. I'm pretty sure I didn't get it to work for a week. I had to try hard. I was not good at flows to start. But shout out, that is an amazing idea, actually, on some things we should do. So next question for you guys.
And everybody wants to know about the challenge. There's lots of folks that are like, how's the challenge going? Do we know how many people have taken the challenge? So as you're watching, maybe look on that and see. So.
I will have to peep on that. I have not checked a updated score. Yesterday we had crossed the 2,500 mark.
Yeah.
And so that's phenomenal. 2,500 people. And it was crazy because before the show even started, we had something like 300 people that had already completed the challenge before the day even began. So pretty cool to get that done. For those of you that don't know, we have a cloud skills challenge. You can go to aka.ms/WAC-POPCC where you registered for the event. On that page is all the information for the Cloud Skills Challenge. And what it is it's foundational modules to all the products. So you'll learn Power Virtual Agents, you'll learn Power Apps, you'll learn Power Automate, and you'll learn Power BI. And so you'll get a start to each of those tools. And then from there, if you actually go ahead and achieve them all, complete all the modules, then you get a certificate. And that certificate can be shown on your LinkedIn as an achievement, shared on Twitter. And it's just a way to say, I completed the Cloud Skills Challenge. I know about all those things. And it's a little bit of bragging rights and a way to kind of just get started in the platform. So I will check on an updated number there. Okay, so next question is, yesterday, we had this theme throughout of thankfulness. People from Microsoft made videos. April, you had a video in there. Thank you for that. I think that, it's very important for us to make sure that we're constantly showing our gratitude. The community does a ton for us. And so it was an honor to get to put together all those videos and see them all firsthand of how people cared about our community and how certain people had impacted them. And so I encourage people to shout out names and stuff. But, among those that you saw, which was your favorite, of all those thank yous, which set or which person or whoever, which one did you enjoy the most? Got to pick somebody. Brian Dang, who was your favorite? Thank you.
I'll share a couple, actually. I like what Emma had said. She called out people who use our latest features in preview. She thanked people for giving us feedback, right? Anytime that we want to improve the product, where do we go? We go to the ideas, we grab the ideas that are upvoted, the ones that have justifications behind them, and then we have interviews with MVPs, people who use the product to refine it. So I like how she called that out. I also gave a shout out to super users. Now, why? Well, I was a super user myself, somebody who's on the forums. And when you come to a place like the Power Users community, where you're kind of stuck on something, and somebody I don't know how they do it, but they just decide, I'm going to help this person. That's the kind of place that you want to be. And my gut feeling, I don't know if everybody's the same as me, but I like to help answer questions on the forums because somebody helped me, right? I don't want to pay it forward. So big shout out to those super users. And
love it. Yeah, the super users are a very unsung hero group in our ecosystem. There's 141 of them in the world. There are 2 million plus active community members every month. And these 141 people, they actually answer thousands of questions every month. And they do it because they enjoy helping people. And so if you also enjoy helping people, if you have some product knowledge, and if you want to be a super user, there's a couple things you can do. You can go to our Power Users community. It's community.powerplatform.com. And you can sign up there, and there's a lot of information about super users you can find. Or you can go to our presentation yesterday that you watched. Go down into the description and click the link. There's a whole list of resources there. Download that. Inside that resource guide is direct links to information about super users. They're a fantastic group. And if you want some recognition and want to win some swag and want to help some people, go check out that program for sure. Thanks, Brian. April, how about you? What was your favorite thank you?
I don't know. I can't really pick just one, but like I guess the overall theme that I thought was really cool was just the amount of shout outs that the Power Addicts got. Obviously, that's near and dear to my heart, having been involved in that early on, helping kind of shape that. So loved, the amount of people shouting them out, and then the power users as well. And I got a kick out of the amount of people in their videos that shouted out Daniel Laskowitz. That was pretty funny. It's like, how many people did he bribe there? And I was just totally joking. We all love Daniel.
I love it. He was sending out stroopwafel packs ahead
Yep.
of time.
I didn't. All right, whatever.
You didn't get one? Hey, lesson learned.
It's in the mail, probably.
Here's my address.
Right. Yeah, it's cool.
Manuela, how about you?
Oh, I think same with me. I think it's hard to pick just one. I loved Samir's having his daughter draw the picture. I thought that was really like genuine, and like personally, I know that I wouldn't be where I am today without Samir believing in me. So I just want to give a shout out back to what Samir has done for a lot of individuals in the Power Platform community who he believes in and encourages to, show their best.
Yeah, absolutely. Samir Banger, who's on our PowerCAT team, is someone who is influential in so many of our community people's lives. He has encouraged people to share their story bravely, that what they're doing is great and special and unique. And he's the Power Champions program is what it is today because of his love and effort that he's poured into it. And so I definitely echo that. I think all of us would echo that. Massive shout out to Samir for everything. Yeah. How about you, Heather, co-host? Did you have a favorite thank you?
Sorry, I was like, my head is down in the chat. Apologies. I mean, Samir's was great. I think, hopefully we'll get Clay's in there because I think he's got cut off a smidge on the live thing. That was really lovely too. The whole concept was super cool, and I wanted to, will you shout out who gave this concept some light from Laura? Give Laura a shout out, Sean.
Yeah,
I thought it was great that we did that. We centered it around gratitude and thankfulness on purpose, especially with what we've all been going through. And then this great idea came from John. Talk about that, will you?
Yeah. So Laura, who is our chief of staff, Charles Lamana's chief of staff, she came up with this idea. She said, what if we turn this whole thing on its head? She's like, you know how we just had a whole bunch of community members send us videos to be in the keynote? I was like, yeah. She's like, well, what if we did that? What if we made a whole bunch of videos thanking them and telling them how great they are? And I was like, that is genius. Can I have that idea and just run with it for the whole conference? And she was gracious enough to say, absolutely. And so, originally we of course wanted to highlight community, but I think we really went next level with Laura's idea on getting very straightforward and saying those thank yous and naming names. It's important, I think, to make sure that you give credit where credit is due. And so the ability to do that was fantastic. Yeah.
Yep.
Cool. Okay. So I have a question here that I promised to answer yesterday. It's going to change gears a little bit. We're going to go from talking about the event to talking about technical things. And so the question I got yesterday was state machine in Power Automate. Okay. And so this one is an interesting one. My answer is there is state machine in Power Automate. It is called Business Process Flows. It is built on Windows Workflow. It is older technology. It is not ideal for what most people are looking for. It's not the state machine they want, but there is state machine in Power Automate. There are options there. Also, if you would like a better option, Serge Luca has created a pattern called State Machine that he uses parent and child flows to sleep and wake up certain flow actions. And so I highly encourage you to go and look up Serge Luca's State Machine pattern. It's probably the best way to do state, even above BPF for most people. And so that's my answer. I know that Daniel Laskowitz is not going to love that answer, but hey, send me some stroopwafels. Maybe I'll come up with something better. Yeah. So I promised, that was the one question from yesterday that really stood out that I promised to answer today. So I want to make sure and get that out of the way. It wasn't even him that asked it, but I know he's going to give me a hard time about it.
That's funny.
Yeah. Okay. So, I want to spend a little bit of time on this question actually, because I think it's a very, very important one. And I think we could probably spend a whole day doing this. But yesterday at the end of the show, Heather and I made an effort to shout out a lot of people. We absolutely missed people. And so I want to take that opportunity now and ask all of us, give a shout out to your top 3, community members or top 3 that you think we may have missed who deserve some spotlight as well. I would love to keep on the theme of thankfulness and sharing the spotlight. And so, Brian, I'll put you on the spot first. Who did we miss?
So this one, I have to give a huge shout out to Gabriel Hollingsworth. He is the one behind putting all the videos together. He's the one who is helping our super users, nurturing them and helping us grow a bigger community of super users. He helped me in putting the app together. I needed some lists of MVPs and super users so I could create the filters for the tweets that had come in inside the social app. So Gabe is always there behind the scenes, and I really appreciate the work that he does here.
I like that. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and add on to that. He made speaker cards. He edited all the videos for sound. He created all of our assets for social media. Yesterday, they needed additional graphics for today, and he turned them around immediately. He was in the chat making sure there were links for everything and banning people that were getting out of line, and so much behind the scenes effort happened there. And I felt terrible about missing that shout out yesterday. So thank you, Brian, for correcting that. And Gabriel definitely is a massive reason of why this show was what it was. So thank you, Gabriel, indeed. All right, April Dunham, how about you? Who did we miss? Who would you like to shout out?
Well, it's, +1 on Gabriel. I know all that he does for the super users community and everything and the behind the scenes stuff. So definitely big shout out to him. I'll just give I know you kind of mentioned it, but big shout out, to you, John. I mean, this kind of all started, kind of your baby with the Flow conference. So, and then became what it is today. So wouldn't be here without what you started there and the Flow fam and all that community, and Heather as well just did a great job as co-host. I mean, I really enjoyed, how you two interacted back and forth, and you just kept it engaging and lively. And then Brian, too, in the chat and with the application, I mean, that blew me away. I love that Power App that you built for that. So huge shout out.
Awesome. Manuela, how about you?
Oh, this is gonna get boring for you, but yeah, +1 on that. I think both you and Heather, you've done a fantastic job of keeping the conference engaging and interacting with the audience on social, and Brian in the chat. So yeah, huge shout out to you. It wouldn't it wouldn't have happened without you.
Oh man, you guys are too nice. I'm trying to share the spotlight with everybody else. You guys are turning it on us. Go ahead, Heather. Go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah. Anything I've been thankful to be an event producer and theater geek for most of my life, and a producer at Microsoft. And it takes a village to put on a show. It takes a village to run a community, and so all of you are a part of, what we do every day. And, we have, Heather Hernandez and Brandy and Sonia and Valerie, we have a great team that works with us on our online communities, as well as, Gwen from the design team who made our beautiful designs, from Paul Cooper's team, and, and then just working with our marketing teams. And, Microsoft's a big organization, and we partner with each other, I think, really well, and the blog and social teams and, all of that stuff. So that's always super fun to figure that out. And I think, when we come together, we one, think about how we work together, but also it's like some of the things that you all talked about for even next time. It's like, how do we do this stuff well? How do we share it with each other, right? How do we connect? How do we learn? And how do we share, right? To me, that's sort of that circle of community, if you will, right? And so one of the things I also wanted to say is that one of the things as a team that we're doing right now is we're doing a big documentation push. And so when you're all talking about, how do I engage to do a blog? How do we make YouTube videos? All those sorts of things. I'm committing right here, right now. We will be putting out a playbook from our community team for you, the community, on all of those things. I'm not going to say exactly when. I'm hopefully before the end of this year, but we're working on it right now because I think it's important for us to figure out like how we can help more, how we can hear more, and how we can help you do what you do even more, even bigger and better, and all of that. So that's coming soon. So I want to say thank you to everybody. I'm new in my role as a leader of this team, and I'm just, you all blow me away with how amazing you are. So thank you for that, for sure. So, and I appreciate everybody on the team who contributed to this event, for sure.
Did she just say that we were going to write a whole bunch of documentation? Because suddenly I got to go on vacation for a while.
This is not news. It started about minutes ago.
Okay, so I'm gonna actually go ahead and I want to shout out. I want us to go ahead and now shout out some community members, right? So I think that we missed a lot of names yesterday in that regard too. We had a lot of material up on the board, but there was a lot we missed. And so, like, right off the bat, Shane Young, I want to shout him out. He makes more Power Apps content than anyone I know. He's constantly creating material and giving it to the community. He's been in the show in previous years. We weren't able to get him in this year, but massive shout out to Shane, to his contributions to the community, to being a leader. And we saw yesterday in the chat, Shane Young was like a verb or like a thing to be. Like, people were, you don't just become Shane Young in a day, was the statement made. And so, huge shout out to him.
Shane Young in a day, isn't that? Oh, wait.
Shane Young in a day. I like that. I also want to give a huge shout out to Matt Collins-Jones. He did get some love yesterday, but not enough. Matt Collins-Jones is a unsung hero in this community. He makes more Power Automate content than anyone I know. If you haven't heard of him, if you haven't seen his stuff, go and search him on YouTube and on Twitter. He's what's his Twitter handle, guys? Come on, give it to me. Does anyone know it offhand? D365 Geek.
Maybe.
We're going to get his Twitter handle in the chat for you so that you can follow it. Brian's looking at that right now. He's a great guy. He makes a ton of content. If you want to learn Power Automate, definitely check that out. Also, I got it. I nailed it.
Nailed it. D365 Geek.
Yeah.
Okay. Excellent. Awesome. All right. Who else? Who did I miss? Keep it going, guys. Let's do a couple of more here. We have a few more minutes. I want to make sure we give out some adequate credit. All of our friends in South Africa, Tracy and Alistair and Daryl and all those guys. They do podcasts. They do Power Automate content. They are constantly hosting events. Massive shout out to you guys. My friends over in Iceland, I want to shout out to you guys. There's a community bludgeoning over there who's been hitting me up about visiting once they open. I want to say hello to our Japan UG, who is one of our most active in the whole world. Thank you guys for your passion, to the Power Apps Orchestra for constantly coming together and creating cool things and inspiring us all to new depths. I hope it comes across that this event was meant to be a celebration of you, that it was meant to highlight the things you're doing, the journeys you've been on, and the thankfulness we have for each of you. And so my hope is that has come across, and I think it has. And we have some ideas, I think, for how we'll take this next one to even greater levels, how we'll focus on the value of being a community member even more. And so that's very exciting. But we have a couple more minutes. And we have a great question that I would love to answer. It's a very important one that came up from our previous discussion. Are you ready for this? So a couple of people have asked, and I want them to know because it's very important information. What the heck is a stroopwafel? So there you go. Look at that. That's a stroopwafel. It is the best thing on earth. It's like manna from heaven. It's two little waffles with caramel in the middle, and they get pressed down together, and then you eat that. But the best thing to do, the trick, if you're in the know about stroopwafels, you get a hot cup of coffee, you take your stroopwafel and you put it on top of the cup so that the steam heat from the cup heats the caramel inside of the waffles, so that when you eat the stroopwafel, it's ooey gooey along with your hot coffee. You're welcome. You're welcome. So now you have a mission. I have homework for everyone, and the homework is go and find a stroopwafel. They're fantastic.
They're Dutch.
Yes. They should appear with Power Coffee on the next.
Oh, I like that. Yes. Brian, taking it up a level.
Starting early.
Yes, they are Dutch, and so that's why I was introduced to them by the wonderful Daniel Laskowitz. Yep. He tends to bring me them. He knows that it's a good bribing tool from the Netherlands.
Awesome. Inez, but she was, what the heck is a stroopwafel?
Yeah, exactly. Inez, it's for you. And it's for everyone, really. That question is for everyone, because if you haven't met stroopwafels yet, your life will be changed. Changed through the Power platform and changed through stroopwafels.
Hey, you know what, John? You said the term ooey gooey, and that is actually a technical community marketing term, just so we're clear. Ooey gooey is all the good stuff that we talk about. It's the TED Talks in the real world session. It's the ooey gooey. It's like what makes your heart sing, what makes your soul go woohoo when we do things and we share our stories together. So I think we might have found our ooey gooey award. It will be the stroopwafel.
Nice. I love. Oh, can I win the award?
Maybe. We'll see.
Okay, good. Okay, cool. Awesome. Well, hey, I want to go ahead and just wrap this up, and let's just all take a second here. Brian, why don't you take 30 seconds and just, say a thank you to the community, Manuela, and then April, and then Heather, you can close everything up. How's that?
Okay.
Awesome.
Yeah, I especially want to thank everybody who joined us on the call. I mean, you could do so many other things in your day, but if you could take out some time of your day to learn something, you can take yourself from where you are now to where you can't even imagine where you will be, because the set of skills that you develop from the Power Platform are going to launch the unimaginable. Thank you for joining us.
Manuela?
Yeah, I could add thank you, and thank you to everyone who took time to present yesterday. It's only through you that other community members can grow and can imagine where they can go and can advance their careers. So thank you to everyone who took time to prepare a presentation and present yesterday.
Yeah, just echo that. Thank you to everyone that joined. I know that we're all kind of getting like meeting fatigue and tired of all, so many virtual things these days. So I know you're taking the time out of your day to join, and not only join, but to be active in the chat. I mean, that was really, really cool to see, like what John and Heather already said earlier. And again, shout out to the Power Addicts out there and the presenters that took the time. This, it's a lot of work, to put together these presentations. So thanks to everyone that's sharing their content with us all.
Right on. I can get all misty about everything, I think. I think community to me is truly about belonging, and everybody belongs to this community, and everybody just thank you for being a part of it. Thank you for the pulling of the pigtails sometimes, as my mom would say. Thank you for the great feedback you give us. You are actively changing how we build product at Microsoft. I've been a community member. I've raged against the machine. I love it. So bring it, So we're here to listen to you, and we're here to help, and we're here to be your best advocates. I learned so much yesterday about everything. I just want to say thank you all for your contributions every moment, from the user to the maker to the candlestick. How's that go? To the MVPs and the super users and the champions and our product teams and the folks that we work with every day as well. Thank you to all of you for dipping in and being a part of this as well. So, and John, again, I said this yesterday, but really truly thank you so much for including me in this journey that you started, that I got to, be privy to on the production side, as well as your co-host. And again, thanks everybody, and thank you, John. And here's to the next one, because we're going to do it again. All right.
It's a promise. We're doing another one. And just thank you, everybody. Really appreciate you. I echo what everyone said. You guys are why we do this. I hope that this shows you our appreciation. I hope that this was a proper thank you to let you know what you mean to us. And so I'll leave you with that. I will see you all in the community, and talk to you soon.
Bye, everybody. Big love. Woo!